I've been working with our communities for over 30 years here in Grays Harbor. We are a very rural county. We are currently in our third Brownfields grant. Through this process, we have worked on over 40 sites, and we have done everything from identifying what issues are on the property to cleanup, as well as area-wide planning and helping our cities actually do community planning through that process. So Onterris has been with us and helped us to forge our way. They know the funding programs in and out, and we have benefited from several secondary funding programs because of Onterris' expertise.
One of the best parts about my job is forming partnerships with communities that have a desire to restore their environments and to revitalize their neighborhoods, and then working hand in hand with them to identify funding sources, secure the grant funding needed to build a program, and then working with them on the back end to manage, administer, and implement the technical aspects of the grant. Brownfield projects don't happen overnight, and in order to sustain momentum, you need to build strong relationships within the communities with a whole array of stakeholders. And we've been able to do that here in Grays Harbor. Through our work with the Grays Harbor Council of Governments, we've been able to complete environmental site assessments and cleanup and reuse plans on dozens of sites throughout the cities.
One of my passions is working with small agencies who don't necessarily have the resources to pursue this funding on their own. This allows me to form collaborative relationships with them and act as an extension of their agency and do the heavy lifting for them.
When I was growing up here as a kid, Aberdeen and Hoquiam were very vibrant communities, and a lot of that's been lost with the closure of the mills and all the things that have negatively impacted us. Since the 1960s, Grays Harbor has had 17 designated national disasters from flooding throughout the county. There are over 5,100 properties, residential and commercial, that are in the flood zone where people today are subject to flooding and they have to pay flood insurance. Our community is very financially distressed. The $3 million in grant funding that has come in through the Brownfield project has been monumental for the city. The largest infrastructure project that the city of Hoquiam has worked on in the last 50 years is the North Shore Levee and the North Shore Levee West.
The site that we're standing on right now is the midpoint of the North Shore Levee. The North Shore Levee is an essential piece of infrastructure that is currently being designed and soon to be built. Facilitating the construction of the North Shore Levee is going to be an absolute game changer for the community.
Once we get the levees built and certified, FEMA will come in, they'll remap the city, and all of a sudden now 5,000 properties will no longer be in the flood zone and be required to get flood insurance.
So Onterris was hired by the city of Westport basically to do some environmental testing for 2 city-owned properties. And as we got into the process, we wanted to define what the end use is of the property, because that's really going to inform the cleanup actions. It's really going to inform what the benefits are for the community. And then also it's just going to help the community kind of chart out what their future intent is for these 2 properties. One being a waterfront property, which encompasses almost 20 acres. And then the other one is the old City Hall and maintenance yard property, which is in the heart of the Montesano Street corridor. And it occupies about 5 acres. This is a gateway into the community. And the first thing you see is like more maintenance type facilities. Whenever the community was like, I really need a place that we could gather, that came up quite a bit. So it'd be event space, canoe and kayak launching, restoration of the natural ecosystem.
I want to have a city that my grandchildren come back to and is viable. This place, this site for me is just, off the hook. I think it needs to be taken care of, protected, and shared for our generations to come.
We want our future generations to understand how fortunate they are to live in an area that's as special as this. And I believe that the Brownfield program is a great place to start. I really pray that that program continues long into the future and multiple other communities can see the benefit that it provides.